So, I've been wondering about the latest situation with Iron Mouse and the Burnt Peanut guy, and I know I'm kinda late to this, but you see in the title of the video, it's not really about these two, but that's what sparked the interest I have in this situation and the whole community, so to speak, and bad actors and all that. I mean, you probably have watched other content creators like talk about this and explain like why what happened. I'm gonna recap. The Burn Peanut guy won the Street Streamer Award for Best VTuber, and Iron Mouse respond positively. And the second one is kind of dumb, and it kind of like sparked this like drama, so to speak. It's not really a drama, really. It's just unfortunate wording and unfortunate circumstances. And it's not just that. I've watched not a dozen, but a couple, I feel, and they express how Iron Mouse is like betraying the community and all that. And I feel like it has to be addressed because people don't really like think too much about this. And that is about the VTuber community in quotation mark, entitlement. And let me get this out of the way because I wanted to just be out there. VTuber community is not just like one like unity or like harmony or whatever. It's more like a conglomerate. If you don't know what that means, it's pretty easy to understand. I mean, if you have a culture, or rather, I would use a fandom as an example. You have a subculture within a culture, and the subculture also have like another smaller thing inside it. And I would say VTuber have a regional opinion, so to speak, because in the West, VTuber community or fans, they are way different than the one in the East. And when something like this happen, things just go haywire, and it get people thinking like where do they belong in the in the VTuber space. And that kind of thinking it's not very new. It's not very recent, and I think it applied to every kind of media out there, like like movies, fans. I think the best kind of a comparison because it's Japanese related because VTuber kind of start out in Japan or rather popularized in Japan. They're all kind of avatar and pen name like back then, all the way back when people use pen name to write like story, like a book, something like that. And VTubing is no different than those. Some actors use like stage name and all that. Some musical artists use persona name, kind of like Eminem with Slim Shady, and I forgot the Donald Glover. I kind of forgot what his real name is. I haven't listened to him in a while. But back to the topic. What has sparked a debate on whether the burnt peanut has earned the right to be a VTuber in the first place or deserve to win an award or not? I think that depends on the people that look into the situation, and I don't think there's a concrete information that this and that and just it's going in a circle really, or a bird eating its own tail. But like I mentioned before, the cultural thing have subculture in it. Each region have their own region, and when we the VTubing fans or whatever. I mean, I am one, and I can speak that for myself. And I have a small community, but let's just focus on the community as a whole, right? It's kind of like I would say is like YouTube community or Twitter community, kind of like that. And VTuber community is like a subculture to that because people do streaming on YouTube, and they this retweeter. I'm sure you guys know who they are, what they are, and what they do. There's also on Twitch as well, some are on Instagram, some are everywhere really on all these platforms. So when something happens to VTuber and like the message has been said by a certain figure, like Iron Mouse for example, I don't blame her for anything she has said, but could have worded better. And you know, someone like this in a higher position, a micro celebrity, is way too oblivious. I wouldn't say oblivious, but like it's close to oblivious. They probably have something tied down to what they can say and they cannot say, like sponsorship and collaboration and all that. If you lose that kind of thing in VTuber, well, you're gone. You can't just make it alone, right? And I would say that happens to a lot of people who start early. For people who start just recently, like me, I would say it's safer to navigate because I don't just explode in one night. I don't explode just like some YouTuber, like some streamer out there that made such a good content that they explode in just one night and they get all the fame, all the attention they get, all the money they receive from donation. And neither is it from gradually building yourself up to become like the top of the top, the apex predator of the VTuber world, the kings and queens that sit on the throne. I wouldn't say there's a accurate depiction, but strong word, metaphors. I think a lot of people doesn't quite realize what community such as VTuber has built upon. You know, some other part of the world or some other region, the subculture, the sub-community, so to speak, they often identify themselves with the bigger picture, the bigger group. So if you're in the West, you probably identify yourself as a fan of Iron Mouse, as a fan of Bao the Whale, as a fan of any Western YouTuber, or even like just Hololive one or Nijisanji one, just because they speak English, right? So you see them as like a figurehead that speak for everyone. But indie VTuber, kind of like Iron Mouse, she doesn't have really like the limit, I guess. Like Calliope reply to that as well, and I wouldn't say she had any permission to to speak about that. But hey, that's just me. What is very interesting is how some small time VTuber, kind of like me, really, it reflects on that and see how the burnt peanut guy is like invasive person, I guess, like invader to the community, and that kind of exclusion it's nothing new really. It's been like that, and I've seen some comment on Twitter. We have to gatekeep the community and all that. Recently, the Blue Archive community decided to cancel the people that doesn't like the game or have saying something that goes against the community wishes. So they gatekeep the content and all the fandom. And the same thing is happening in anime or any media culture, really. And that include VTuber. And just like any other fandom or fans, is the internet, right? The internet has kind of normalized people being like this, act like this, and say stuff like that, and everything that they have done really to do damage or to try to control damage, to exaggerate the situation and all that. But I come to a clarity. I believe that we are sitting on, well, the foundation that early VTuber have built, and it has become like a fandom, like I said, like a culture. And over time, people will become comfortable with that idea. So they don't really try to like, I don't know, like get it, like get the whole ecosystem. That it's not just one entity, or one identity of being a VTuber. There's like all kind of YouTuber out there. Some do music, some do gaming, some do writing, I guess. I'm a writer, kinda. So when an invader, like I mentioned before, I wish I wouldn't say really an invader. I would say an outsider, an outsider, or how people would call those people would be a tourist. People that just so oblivious to the fact that the thing they are associated with is not what they, it is what they want it to be, right? They demand it to be in the way that they can accept it, rather than the fact that it exists as a thing that anybody can interpret and felt in those, definition of VTuber and all that. It's emotional. It's the kind of entitlement that has built for, I would say, 5 years, because VTuber exploded ever since coronavirus. And something like that takes a long time to build. They crumble pretty fast. So I would say it's a pretty fragile thing. Is it delicate? Well, it can be delicate, but most of the time it would be insecurity, so to speak. It's not really about like one person, but more about an ecosystem that built upon it. And when that thing caught a fire, people just, well, they can't stop the fire really. They kind of just like cut down the trees and just it's a scorched earth in a way. I don't know what I'm talking about. Though I can say some indie VTuber out there that speak out about this, like Iron Mouse being the figurehead that represent the Western community or just community in general. They felt threatened that their position and their identity has been reduced to um how would I say this? Just like a face filter guy, like the burnt peanut. I wouldn't say they're wrong, but I wouldn't say they're right either, because VTuber can be many things. It's not just about having an avatar, a voice, gaming skill, talking to the chat, and all the whole subculture of Twitch VTuber. But then again, if you stream on Twitch, that's pretty much like a death sentence. Suffocate you pretty slowly and firmly. But let's not talk about that. The thing about with the VTuber community and the smaller creators is that they felt, betrayed by Iron Mouse, and Iron Mouse doesn't really do anything wrong in this case. It's just that her wording is a bit, it rubbed people the wrong way, because people felt that their voice hasn't been heard in a grand scheme of thing because of the community and the person that speak for it, even if they don't know or have light knowledge about their position. So when big VTuber doing something dumb, I wouldn't call our mouse situation dumb, at least not personally. It affect them. It affect the fragile insecurity and all the things that make VTuber a VTuber. I have nothing to lose, so I don't really care if I speak for the right or wrong person, because I'm just a guy. I'm just making videos sometimes. I just stream sometimes. I'm just having fun. I'm more of a traditional streamer, or maybe I'm just carving my own lane. With people doing the same thing and similar thing rather, and they want to be associated with each other, right? They are part of the ecosystem. They want to be together. They want to be in a harmony as a unity, and that's kind of like what a conglomerate is, right? But people doesn't really think of themselves as that. like as a smaller community, and mix them together, and you get like two communities under one name, maybe. Though I would say the VTuber fans, just like anime fans, really, they are, especially online, they are, you know, they shouldn't have the right to speak about everything. And that goes the same for me too, and other smaller creator out there, or even the bigger creator out there. I just find it fascinating how, you know, how entitled we become as a VTubing space. For a smaller one, small timer like me. For a bigger one, corporate, indie, whatever. We have sit on this foundation for too long, and when it shakes the whole system. Not because it's built on a fragile system, but more like people are loose. Doesn't realize it's a loose structure on a foundation that has been laid before us. So people feel insecure about things. It's kind of like how in real life you would have like a foundation, which is the family, and once some people in the family, some person in the family have done something wrong or done something very different, and is steering the direction of the family or the neighborhood really into a certain direction that it does not um, does not feel exclusive, or rather, it doesn't follow the guide or follow the legacy of the latest predecessor. And I can say that for personally, because I live in a neighborhood that is like that, and I've been a family that is like that. So when the whole thing felt shaken, everyone will feel it, whether they like it or not. I gotta come up with a conclusion so I can stop it. I can stop this talking because it's been like 20 minutes. I'm gonna cut it down to like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't know. The conclusion is this. I want you to realize that it's a loose structure on a foundation that has been laid many years ago, and it's not just a single identity or entity. VTubing is not just one thing, and it's not like everyone, it's not an everyone thing. Some people see it as a way to hide behind the avatar and just earn money through, way to, I don't know, like if the if the ops have to say, it would be like manipulated, just in like an avatar and just earn money through that instead of hard working and getting an actual job. But hey, you can say that to streamers as well, except they're just using real face. They're using a stage name. They don't use her real name. VTuber is just another, like a long lost cousin to that. And I would say a long lost, but it's like a distant cousin to that. I would say that you need to be mindful of your perception and what you say, what you think, or rather what you think and then what you say. There are no such thing as we as the VTuber community. No, there's only we as the part of VTuber community. Part, part. The keyword being part. Being part of something doesn't grant you the authority or the ownership of said thing. It just defines who you are at the moment. And those kind of things doesn't last forever. So I would say, if you want to be a VTuber and you seek that kind of thing, like like big community, become part of something bigger, just don't. Just quit, okay? Just don't do it. Just no. It's not worth your time, okay? It's not worth anyone's time. It's a waste of time to think about that and act like that. And maybe you can call me fucking racist or whatever, or like like this guy is fucking lost his mind. But like in Western media or community, or just VTuber, it really is like a business. But then again, if I say that, right, which I did, in the East is also transactional. The corporate VTuber, which is very big in the East, they focus on making money, and I won't name them, but I would say one of them is Nishisanji and Hololive, right? One of those like Phil corporate that really focus on making money. but it's making money about art, right? About content creation. So it's a bit loose on that. Anyway, I think I was rather get your opinion on things so I can make up my mind and not making up shit to say in a video like this. So yeah, just tell me what you think about this in the comment section. If you like the video, like the video. If you want to see more like this, I rather not do more of this. Actually, it's kind of draining. Smoke like a 2-pack while making this video. It's not that stressful. It's just like I need something to stop me from speaking. Otherwise, I'm just gonna get loose. And subscribe to the I said that before. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And share if you feel like this is valid. If it's not valid, then just make a video counter this. I'm gonna make like a video for like a new YouTuber, kind of like why you wanna become a VTuber and how you can become a VTuber and what you should do, what you shouldn't, and really in the ultimate form, just do what you think is fun. Don't try to become part of the big community just because it feels exclusive or inclusive. It depends on how you see it. Just do what is fun for you and is fun for people around you, your friend, your collaborators, your sponsor. Just do things like just not like other people normally do. Okay, don't try to stick to the big things. You can have ambition to become like part of the community or whatever, but you don't make that as a main objective as a VTuber. Alright, that's everything I want to say. I'm gonna cut it down and hopefully it makes sense. Because my sleep schedule has been fucked. Okay, bye. Ciao!